Hello and welcome everybody to Zero Gravity Gaming Plat League Week one finally back and finally having our Plat League back. I am Thousand Eyes alongside Gavin tonight, and we are going to bring you the action as we do get ready. Teams are ready to start our draft very shortly, and things should get very interesting here, right, Gavin?
Yes, I did a little bit of scouting ahead of time, and I think we're going to see some interesting picks. Definitely interesting mid and top lane picks. I think is my shot that I'm calling.
All right. Well, we will see as that is. We obviously don't want to say just yet because we don't want to give things away because teams may be cheating. If you're cheating, shame on you. But we will be getting the draft underway very shortly. I have just given the go ahead for the teams to ready up and get things underway, and the draft lull should be getting started now. So just based on what you have seen so far, like, what are we expecting from these teams? What are we looking at in terms of who is going to be our pivot player, who's going to be the best player on each team, and who we should watch out for?
So I cannot speak to quality of players. I haven't seen any of them play specifically, but I think a lot of the focus should be more towards the top side. For G&E, he plays a lot of AD top laners, and on the side of SON, they play a lot of it's like a mix of just Scion and also a lot of high scaling champions like Kale and Akshan and Camille and stuff like that. And then the junglers for both also play a lot of aggressive picks, but I feel like the mid laner is either going to play something flashy or super supportive. I think it's going to swing one way or the other. But I definitely think the focus is going to be on top lane.
Wonderful. I mean, it's not been the case in my solo queue games that focus has been in the top lane. Top lane has kind of been a non-factor in a lot of games, so it's interesting to see these teams are going to maybe try and focus up there, and we're going to get a little bit of action. We're not going to be getting the tanks as much. I mean, obviously Scion, but I mean, Hullbreaker exists, and it makes me vehemently upset as we are getting underway for our first draft of the night here. So
Something I kind of want to touch on regarding top lane being an island right now. I know that's the meme right now, and like everybody just says, "All right, top lane, we'll see you in 20 minutes. Have fun." But I do think that opens it up for a lot of like really aggressive play styles because like if you can win that lane super hard, which is possible because a lot of teams are leaving top lane pick for very last, so you have that counter pick option available to you. So if you can get a really good counter pick and have that lane smash it all on its own, that frees you up so many resources to have your jungle force bot side to win, and then you've got two winning sides of the map. So it being an island means that you're not gonna see a lot of team attention there probably, but that also means it can be a blowout one way or the other.
absolutely. And as we see right now, the Camille being banned away, one of those top laners that we probably could expect. If you do want to take over a top lane and you are confident and capable at it, you definitely want to be taking that one away. The Anivia and the Jhin being taken away from G&E right now, as the Diana and Jinx, very meta bans, being taken out now.
Yeah, I really like to see Camille banned, and Hecarim banned. Those are two very much like, if they get ahead, they will wreck your backline, and comps right now are all about backline. So that is very good ban. So Leona's the first pickup that's pretty good. You don't really give anything away as to your team comp. She's pretty much fine to anything, great engage, good tank. So, and it also frees you up to have that more aggressive top lane. If you play like a Jace or an Akshan or something, you'll still have that tanky engage that you can follow up on.
Absolutely. I mean, the thing you got to watch out for, though, is you are going to be dealing with a little bit more poke, or, maybe just go for the all-in and say you want to come in. I welcome it, and go for the Blitzcrank over on Leviathan there. So I am very curious what is the plan here, because I have not seen Blitz even in my own games. He's just not been very popular as of late. More focused for a champ that has a bit more beefiness that actually goes into the fight, like the Leona.
So Blitz is it's fun. Blitz paired with an Echo is weird. Or sorry, Echo. Ezreal. It's a little weird. He's not, colloquially known as a kill AD carry. So like, Blitz pulls and he gets some damage off of his Q. Like the WQ is nothing to sneeze at. But not traditionally known as someone who participates in a kill lane. That said, if you can get ahead in kills in the early game with an Ezreal, that is a pretty strong late game. That is a very dangerous, like, you cannot exist anywhere on the same screen as the enemy team because you will either get poked out or pulled in. And yeah, pretty heavy bank.
Ooh, I love this here. So I did want to point out, Blitzcrank with the Ezreal too. The other option is if you're getting completely just dumpstered in the lane, you can just roam, and Ezreal can play safe. It's a pretty easy thing to just let Ezreal alone in that lane as you make things happen elsewhere. But we have the Trundle here in response to the Sejuani. So why don't you just tell me here why this is such a good counter pick?
So it's a great counter pick. Not only just because of the Sejuani, but because of the Leona. When you're playing Trundle, you crave champions that have inbuilt ways to enhance their own armor and MR. And both Sejuani and Leona have abilities that increase their own armor for you to steal, especially if they take Courage of the Colossus. Because once those abilities fall off and once Courage is over, they are paper thin. And if you can completely just say, no, you're not allowed to engage because we'll melt you like 2 seconds afterward, that is such a team fight winning ability. Also, he's just strong right now.
Yeah.
He's a great duelist into Viego. I thought it was Viego jungle just because that's Viego, but I guess it's going to be Viego top lane?
Could be Viego, man. It's Viego AD carry. Why not? As we are in the ban phase. Actually, we're finished the second ban phase. Yep. Yeah, Leona AD carry with the crit Leona. Very good, guys. If you are against me, absolutely should try that one out because I suck against that. The Ahri and Sion here being taken away from Leviathan, and the Vayne as well as the Lissandra. So it looks like they're expecting the Viego to be going top, and the Aatrox, another champ that has not really been super popular both in solo queue and in professional play as of late.
Yeah, I don't super like the Aatrox pick into Viego, unless your plan is to just have him play weak side, try not to die kind of situation, because Aatrox really struggles into champions that just want to walk at you and auto attack, and that is what Viego does. Zeri was open. How did we not notice Zeri was open? What?
To be fair,
how do you let that slide?
To be fair, Zeri is a little bit harder to utilize in lower ranks just because of her very weak early game, and we're seeing this picked up against a Blitzcrank of all things, so there is a risk factor here. The Leona doesn't have as much ability to really go in unless there's ganks coming in, and the Blitzcrank can really put pressure on Zeri and force her to just constantly use that E defensively.
I don't know why you give up Zeri ever. Just ban it permanently. But I mean, yeah, I really like Genie's comp here. Zeri is very weak in the early game, but also like all you have to do is just dodge the Blitz Q, and that's it, and you're fine for the next 15 seconds every time. And just sit by minions. She's got a dash, she's got flash. So like theoretically she should be fine because there's no way that Blitzcrank engages without the hook. So yeah, I think they're fine. They've drafted a very team fighty comp. Viego is the only the odd duck out, I think, but that's because again top lane's an island, so you want a lane that's gonna beat up on the other one. And I don't know of any off the top of my head like immediate counters to Viego, like
wait,
Malphite or something.
Hold up.
Oh, it's Sejuani top. Why didn't we think of that?
Because
mean.
it's
That's
because Sejuani top is not a thing that
because
we
it's mean.
ever see ever in anything. So I wasn't ready for
Yeah,
that one.
I didn't expect that, but I guess
The
it makes sense.
classic.
I thought it was weird. Viego is not someone you think of as a just weak side top player, so or champion. So yeah, this is great. This fixes all of my concerns with their comp because I just I don't know what an Aatrox does into a Sejuani. Do you? Because I don't.
I don't know what an Aatrox does. I've never figured that champion out. I just get completely dumpstered by him, and I cannot utilize him myself. So that one is an enigma to me. Everything else though lining up to be about what we expected here. I think I'm gonna be watching here, especially the Sylas here, because I think there's a lot of really good ultimates to take away. The Sedge ult, the Vlad ult, the Leona ult, all of these are great engage opportunities on a team that inherently didn't have engage outside the Blitzcrank.
I think one thing I want to watch here is, as much as I do like Genie's comp in general, I think getting to the late game where their whole comp is very strong is going to be maybe rough potentially. I know I said like Zeri bot lane, like they should be fine theoretically, but that's assuming that Sylas doesn't roam, Trundle doesn't continuously gank, and there is room for misplaying that and losing the lane. So you have Zeri and Vladimir, who both struggle in the early game, but scale really hard into the late game, and Viego, who's kind of paper thin into a Sylas Blitzcrank and all of that damage. So the potential is there for SON to just pick up the ball and run with it. But I think as long as it's not a complete blowout, this late game is going to be really interesting.
I interesting is not the word I would use. Terrifying is the word I would use here, because you're looking at a Zeri, you're looking at a Vladimir, a late game Sejuani is extremely tanky, and the amount of engage potential Leona can bring, because her cooldown on her ultimate is, I would say, considerably low and has been for a long time. I hate that champion. Riot, take that champion down a peg, because God, it is awful to get ulted every freaking fight. Anyway, my complaints aside, what is the lane that you're really looking at here, and what are you hoping to see in terms of what these teams are going to do in the early game?
So I think that Sylas has to be in melee range to push out his lane, and because you've recognized that like Vladimir is a weak champion early, and Sylas has to be in melee range to push the wave, it is entirely possible that Vladimir is either going to shove that lane in continuously, or he's going to freeze it in the mid, and Sylas is going to have to walk up, and that's an easy gank for a Viego. And if you get a Viego and Vladimir rolling, that's going to be rough. So I think the mid lane is going to be the one to watch. I think it's going to have the most impact on the rest of the map, because if either of those lanes start rolling, it's going to snowball everywhere else.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very scary. But with that, we are going to take a quick break as we get to our intermission. Very close. We will be loading into the game, and we will be bringing the action to you guys. So do not go anywhere. We will be right back. Hello and welcome everybody, as we are now loaded into the game and we are getting underway as teams will be moving out. It is a Blitzcrank, so keep your eyes peeled here as G&E Ruby on the blue side, Toxic Koopa, Dio in the jungle, Shockwave in mid lane, Dialoon in the AD carry position, and Wardoop at support here.
So it looks like SON's gonna go for something spicy. If you've got a Blitzcrank, you have to go for something spicy.
Yeah.
That's the law. It's been written.
Yeah. Why don't you give us the rundown on Leviathan's lineup here while we are waiting for the Blitzcrank?
Well, I don't think we're gonna see anything too spicy super early.
No,
I think everyone.
I mean the players, Gavin. Give the players their due.
I pretty much only know about their picks that I went over in draft, but I mean, SON's top laner plays a lot of stuff. I mentioned the Scion, but also like a lot of their match history was a lot of high scaling champions. And Aatrox is not that. He's a big team fighting meatball that doesn't die. So it's a similar playstyle to Scion. So I don't think he should be pretty comfortable on this. So playing weak side, playing Scion, it's all the same thing. It's all gravy. As far as the jungle goes, he plays a lot of stuff.
That almost got stolen away there. Blitzcrank things, everybody.
Everyone hates playing against Blitzcrank. It's such a different game than everything else.
It's almost like Singed in a way, where you're not playing League of Legends, you're playing Handle the Blitzcrank.
Yeah, your job is just to be annoying, which is super fun to play, not super fun to play against, as it turns out.
Yeah, as we do take a look top lane, Disciple is doing a lot of work against this Sejuani here, running the Grasp as opposed to the Aftershock. So a little bit better in terms of dealing with the... oh, here we go. There is a grab there. Dialoon getting a little bit pressured by the Blitzcrank hook, but should be okay here.
Yeah, so top lane, Aatrox got level 1 or level 2 way earlier, so he was able to force Toxic Koopa off the wave, which Aatrox level 1 is already a beast, and putting him a level up just gives him access to so much mobility and damage that like, you can't fight him unless you're on very specific champions. Like,
Oh, we got some fighting in here. Jungle Convict coming in, and Dio is going to need to flash away. Meanwhile, on the bot side, though, Dialoon gets hit by another Blitzcrank hook, and there's the shift in from Macro Beast. Early heal coming through. Not sure if that was needed, but Dialoon will survive. Still has the heal available as well. It is just a flash down on the Leona, and Leona is trying to body block this with her life. Will work there as Wardoop is going to actually hit that. Now go in. Dialoon's going to heal to try and get over. The Ignite will come down, but I don't know if they could get on him. Macro Beast is getting low as well, but I think Dialoon is going to have to back away here as it is just a trade of summoners coming through on the bot side.
I just noticed. I don't know if
well,
you noticed,
we'll get into that in a sec as the Blitzcrank is going to grab the hook, get the first blood there. Meanwhile, mid lane trades with the tower dive as another easy pickup. Wardoop now going to be just getting back to his tower as bot lane is happy with their trade.
Man, this is a bloody game. I love it. This is awesome.
Yeah, you don't have to say anything. I have to do all the work.
Yeah, go forth. But if I could just direct your attention to Blitzcrank summoner spells.
Okay, I'm looking. I'm concerned.
That's a smite.
That is a smite.
That's
also a predator.
Yeah. Blitzcrank is that thing we said about his job is just to be annoying. Yeah, it's that.
Now,
he's just gonna be the most annoying, obnoxious person in this game.
I understand now why he almost stole that red buff. Well. That's really obnoxious, actually.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised they didn't go even more full tilt with it and like send Blitzcrank up to the blue buff because like you already knew you were going to invade there. So having the 3 people would have just meant you get the buff and kill Viego. Oh, here we go.
Knockup comes through. Sluter's going to get more damage down, but Dio is here to back up. Ex-Jungle Convict is around, and there is the pillar, and there is Sluter going in onto the Viego. The mist is not going to keep you hidden. You almost saved that boy there. I don't think you needed to hit that hook, Ivor, but you got the kill, and at the end of the day, that's all that matters.
Yep. So here we abuse the weak early game and the roaming Blitzcrank, which why wouldn't you prepare for that? Everyone knows to expect a Blitzcrank in mid lane at 5 minutes into the game.
Well, expect him again, because here comes another hook as Ivor's going to hit it. Another pillar comes through. Shockwave may be able to survive this. Nope, will not, as the grab comes through on the Sylas. And Sluter now gets another kill, as this Blitzcrank is terrifying.
Yeah, so their plan is really just to have Ezreal sit in bot lane and not help, huh? Like, it's just ruin Vladimir's day.
Good plan to me.
Yeah, eventually Ezreal will do things, or he won't, and it doesn't matter. That's playing AD carry in 2022. Let's go.
This is why I don't play AD carry in 2022 or ever, because AD carry sucks.
It's a bad time.
Don't play AD carries, guys. Just play another role. It's not a fun time, but right now this Blitzcrank is terrifying and doing a lot of work. Speaking of, though, we have top lane getting into a little bit of a fight. They are going to get that scuttle crab.
So I do want to say that SON's just their whole map presence. Here we go again.
Yeah, shut up, Gavin. It's my time to shine as the hook's going to come through. Never mind, you can talk.
They are playing the map really smart. Every time they want to go for something, you can see them setting up for it. For example, that scuttle crab, they knew they were going to do that, and Aatrox was there first. And then when they invaded the blue buff in level 2, I think, level 2 or 3, Aatrox was there first, which shouldn't happen. If it's in your side of the jungle, you should your laner should be there first. That's kind of the conceit. But it's not happening. Oh.
Yeah, here comes some more fights again. Sluter grabbing the ultimate from the Vladimir and just doing so much work with it, but not gonna be surviving again here, as Vladimir does have that late game scaling, but it is just not looking like it's gonna come anytime soon, as Shockwave is going down again.
Yeah, 1-3 and down 20 farm on against a melee scaling assassin champion is not super what you want as a Vladimir. Could be better. Sylas is up 3 levels over Viego. I don't think anyone on their team is. Yeah, everyone on G&E is 1 level down at least to their lane companion, except for Leona, and that's because Blitzcrank has been roaming all game.
I mean, look, if it works, it works, and so far so good. It has been working very well.
This reads to me like SON had a plan when they came into this. They knew exactly what they were going to do, and they are executing it. The only issue, fault that they have right now is that Sylas died in the first solo kill under tower. But even then, they grouped back up, did it again twice actually. But they had their plan and they're executing it, and it's hard to play against that if you don't also have a plan.
Plans are important in a tactics game. I will concede that much. Disciple also just doing more and more work here, as once again in the mid lane, Sluter taking some damage, but Shockwave actually starting to trade this back a little bit. Sluter does have the ultimate again, and there is the flash coming through. Both sides on the mid lane will flash. Top lane, though, Toxicoopa is going to try to set this up. Disciple knows it's coming, gets stunned mid-Q, and Toxicoopa will survive, but that's pretty much the best they get out of that.
Yeah, Disciple played that pretty much perfectly. Also, I do want to point out, Sluter had his ult, but that is the one upside to playing against the Sylas is if your jungle doesn't show up to the lane, you will have ultimate before him every time because there's the ability cooldown and then there's the cooldown to steal your ult multiple times, and that is way longer. So if he can't steal the jungler's ult, then you will have that ult advantage up the next time yours is up. So smart of him to take that trade when he knew he could. He didn't get the kill, but like that is the point where you would have to take a fight.
Oh, the prediction from Wardoop there!
Wow.
Mad Life on the champ against the Mad Life champ. Leona just predicting the E from the Ezreal, but now I think it's going to change back around as Wardoop is going to go down. Dyloon gets hooked at the end of it, and Sluter also gets a kill there. So another pickup. Despite everything going well there for the Zarian Leona on the Ezreal, there's more than just the Ezreal on that team.
It's like every time.
Oh,
good
dear.
Lord, not again.
Good night, sweet friends.
Oof. It's like every time the Genie think they find something, you know, SON's like, no, we were already planning on fixing that. So no, actually. Yeah, you caught out our weak side Ezreal. We're gonna send 2 people down and kill you.
Congrats! You have destroyed our scraps. Die.
Yeah, he's still 28 farm or 26 farm up on you. Like, it's fine. He's going to be fine, and he has first strike, so he's fine. I think it's hard because like when a team plans to do this roaming support blitzcrank thing that they're doing, and they're gaining like their jungle is being so present on objectives, even minor objectives, it's hard to match that. But I do think like you need to send Leona out to help. Like you cannot just have her sitting down bot lane and like maybe you kill Ezreal.
Oh, another ult.
Oh well.
Here comes Wardoop hitting onto the Ezreal, but there's not enough damage. Ezreal got far enough back. Ivern's also going to back away, so another gank not working out. As topside, Toxic Koopa going to be trading a little bit here, starting to get a bit tanky. And maybe get into all the... No, here... Goodbye, Vladimir. God. Let the man exist!
No, that's not how we do.
Yeah, as there comes the topside. Oh, this is not looking good here. There is really no positives going for any lane for G&E right now.
Yeah, yeah. I really don't want to keep harping on this, but also like they are playing the map exceptionally well. They are communicating and moving together so well. If like it's so hard to play against this if you don't also have that level of, okay, this is coming up in so many minutes, let's move here when that happens, and hey, I have the lane over here, so you need to go over here and abuse the fact that they just burn their cooldowns here. And like they're just doing it so well, and it's not that G&E are playing bad, it's that they picked weak early game champs and they're getting out rotated every time.
Yeah.
So like it's just a cascade of minor things
I
that
think
add up to a stomp.
That to me is just the biggest thing. There is just no... Oh, you're on a ward, buddy. Okay. They backed out. Like there was no winning lane here. The best they had is maybe Vlad into Sylas, but obviously that one can turn on a dime and has. Other than that, though, there really isn't much here. Is this poor Vladimir? He is dripping out blood consistently and not gaining a whole lot back.
One thing I really don't like to harp on mistakes. I don't want to hyperfixate on negativity or anything. But
unless they're mine.
Yes, obviously. Because then it's personal. But the Leona not roaming is just so egregious to me. How like you recognize that you need to be roaming because you build Moby Boots first. You cannot build Moby Boots first and then just sit in lane and not do anything with it. They killed Ezreal one time, and he's still up 30 farm. You need to have that Leona match the Blitzcrank because Leona is a powerhouse early. That is a lot of CC. She gives bonus damage to her enemies when they get hit by her abilities. Oh no.
Oh, here comes the Viego trying to go in on that. The Flash W comes through. Disciple's going to keep kiting this one out. Pops the ult to get that healing. Dio is trying to get the kill, and Disciple is so incredibly low, but the Gore Drinker comes in. It's not enough, and the shutdown comes through. On to the Sejuani now as Wordy was going to go in. Ult comes down, doesn't hit. The Ignite does, though, and Dilute is going to pick another kill up here. So this is starting to turn around for the side of G&E. They're getting some pickups here and trying to turn things around, but Dio still going down, buddy.
Yeah, so I don't think it's the end of the world. There is still an avenue for G&E to come back into this. It's gonna be rough, and it revolves basically around recognizing where the other team isn't. You just need to, because when that happened, when they got that kill bot side, SON had 3 people topside that you saw. So that's a pretty good indication, like, okay, we can burn everything and kill Ezreal, and they're not going to do the same thing where they send 2 people down and kill us. So, like, they knew there were people topside, and so they allocated resources to the bot side, and that is what you have to do when you're behind. And the top lane catch wasn't anything. I mean, Sejuani just has a buttload of CC, and then Viego does damage.
Gavin, I would like to bring something to your attention.
Go for it.
And I don't know how much you're going to feel about this. First item on Blitzcrank.
Yeah.
Zonia's.
That is, yeah.
Is there... do you have reasoning behind this, or...
No. I think maybe you recognize that Vladimir is so far behind that the only damage threat on Genie is... I know there's murder happening, but there's murder happening all the time, so I'm going to keep talking anyway. The only damage threats are Viego and mostly Zeri. So, you know, it's a good AP item. I personally really like going heavy AP on Blitzcrank.
Hold up here, as we do see Redupe going in, getting very low, as bot lane is also going into a fight with this Vladimir. Not going to survive there, so it is an easy pickup. Sluter going to try and go in further here. Here comes the Ezreal to do some damage. Dilune trying to kite this one out and will not be able to thanks to the flash. Sluter still going in, healing up something mad. But here comes the resets from the Viego and going to pick up some kills for himself. Shutdowns for Viego. Dio is now on the board with 2 kills and starting to do Viego moments.
Yeah. Viego is nuts as a champion. I love it. I personally love Viego very much. He's so fun to play. But yeah, it feels weird because that fight looked really bad for G&E, but also like you kind of just need to do that, especially if you're like you're behind on Sejuani, but you're not that far behind. And she has
she's a tank. She could take it.
Exactly, and she built the Grievous Wounds item first, so you're mitigating that Aatrox healing, which is a huge part of when he has a lead. It's just really hard to kill him because of that healing, so if you can mitigate that, you kind of negate some of his lead. It's a really easy itemization.
Oh no, but you got to be able to hit your stuff here as Dio's going to get pulled back in. Disciple pops the ult, but there is a huge amount of people here, and now I think Disciple is going to be going down. Dio does flash away, does get away, and does not get the kill as the flash did come through. Unfortunate there for the side of Disciple, but there's a lot of people there, and there's no other objectives to be taken for Leviathan, so just an easy win as Ivern maybe getting caught out himself. Sluter is in the back there trying to get in and will try and protect his Blitzcrank as Dilune will go down next to the Everfrost. Sluter is going to use the Zonia's to stay alive through the Vladimir ult that was stolen and go back in. They're just 2v4ing this and kind of winning it. But no, here comes Viego. Ivern is going to go down as well as Dio picks that one up. As it is once again a good win for G&E.
So I don't want to say that SON are throwing, but they are giving a lot of shutdown gold.
You don't want to not say.
Yeah, they kind of are. We already knew this team scaled really well. They were just down early, so giving them gold maybe isn't the best idea.
I think
as soon as they got that pick bot lane onto Aatrox, and it took a while. I looked at the rest of the map, and nobody else was pushing a lane. Nobody else was really doing anything, and that's not great. If you're gonna have an Aatrox push, you need to have pressure elsewhere, so that like even if they send 3 people to kill him,
just do it again.
They're doing it again.
Just do it again. Pop in the ult, and they don't get anything. I like this though. They're not over forcing it. They're learning from their mistakes and saying like, let's not push this too hard. Disciple's gonna hang around. Here comes the Predator on the Blitzcrank. He doesn't even want to go for. Okay, he does want to go for the hook, and will not get that one. So, G&E staying alive here.
That's when you're playing Blitzcrank at a level where you can kind of expect your opponent to dodge skill shots.
Yo, there is that was some tech I didn't even know existed, as the Viego ult just cancels out the Blitzcrank Q. Keeps Dio alive. It does suck not to have the ulti, but if a reset comes through, Viego will start doing Viego things.
Yeah, Viego will actually cancel pretty much any CC. There's some cool stuff you can do with that, and timing it. It's like dodging something in Elden Ring. So, it's really just gonna...
Yeah, just really do it to that. Do it to him. Also, I knew you were gonna make some kind of reference to Elden Ring. You're goddamn obsessed with that.
That's why I like playing Viego, because his ult is basically just a dodge roll.
I mean, sure, is Ivern once again just trying to pressure here, but they're too close to the tower. There's not enough damage. Disciple is going to be split pushing and getting some work done. I don't know if the speed at which this is happening is enough anymore, though, because we're looking at the volatility of Viego and the volatility of this Zeri as well. Vladimir starting to hit that really scary point. The Blitzcrank Qs are missing as Redup is looking to maybe go in. Rundle will back away. Redup still hanging up forward as Aatrox is coming around the side. They are just going to ping him out and stay alive, as Disciple will take a lot of damage for that little bit of aggression.
So I actually think that SON was playing that really well.
There is the engage there as the Leona ult will come down. Shockwave is going to get very low and not stay alive through the ultimate. Ultimate did not come through on the Vladimir, and it will be just a 1-for-0 now off what looked like a solid engage.
As I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted by...
I'm doing my job!
I said by team fighting.
Okay.
Get over yourself. So I actually think that SON was playing that really well. You had the Silas in the top lane pushing down, and you had the Aatrox mid lane, because they needed to send people to match the 3-person push bot lane, and if they didn't send multiple people to stop Aatrox, he was just going to back up and let absorb that pressure, because then you could just push with more people bot lane. And that's just generally how split pushing works. It's not just one person goes into a solo lane alone and that's it. You have to apply pressure to multiple places on the map, otherwise it doesn't work. Because the whole idea is Aatrox is so fed that you need to send a bunch of resources to deal with him, and that weakens the response to everything else on the map. So them pushing 2 towers at the same time maybe didn't net them both towers. Actually, it did end up netting them 2 towers, but even if they just got the 1 tower mid, that is still a net positive. You're still denying gold from G&E, and that's still, that's how you have to do that. It's not going to work and be flashy every single time, but it works.
I do want to point out here that we do have a soul point available for Leviathan coming up in just 50 seconds, but the Barret is being started as everybody is going on to this Silas, and he may just be able to... Oh my god, these Leona ults are nuts, but not any follow-up to come through. Baron will be easily picked up here by Leviathan, and now they're going to walk straight down to this dragon, use this Baron to maybe try and fight for this Infernal Soul.
I think it was really smart. That was excellent timing on doing the dragon. You had Silas hovering near dragon to make them think like, okay, they're setting up for this.
Oh,
but no, they were just
there is the engage, the grab there, flash forward from the Blitzcrank. Dilume goes down immediately, and that's not the person you want to lose, as Dio is getting lower and lower, will not be able to stay alive for much longer, has to ult away, and now Vladimir is going to push forward, try and give a little space here, but the flash from Disciple will come through.
Deep there, bud.
Does not get the W, and yeah, that might be a little bit... Okay, well, I mean, if Viego does that, it's not.
Oh.
Okay.
Wave to your friends. There we go. Yeah, I guess you don't need soul if you can just win the game.
Or you could do both.
Yeah, just do both. Just do both, Forehead. Yeah, it's rough. You knew that they were all going to be there, because if they weren't there, that's just a free Infernal Soul, which is not something you can allow. And yeah, they're just playing the map really well. They know when to press your objectives, they know when to group, and it's just gonna keep happening, I think.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that I'm seeing right now is just like, yeah, the scaling is coming through, but these early game issues are still plaguing G&E, not even because of their champions not being strong, but because they don't have any dragons. They didn't stop that soul at all. They weren't in a position to keep that Baron, you know, visible, so they couldn't know that the Baron was being taken. Their towers are all pushed in. Not one tower has gone down in favor of G&E. So right now, Leviathan are controlling the map using that early pressure that they had, and I'm really impressed by that.
So one thing I do want to say is, as much as we've kind of honed in on the scaling part of Genie's draft, SON's no slouch either. Silas scales bonkers into the late game, and so does Ezreal. And Aatrox is way far ahead, and Trundle is a gigantic beefcake. And so it's not going to get easier. It's just potentially more possible to turn it at the end of the game. And if we look at the items, Vladimir just picked up his cosmic whatever it's called. But thank you.
It's just it's one word, Gavin.
It's two words. Thank you.
No, the one
Cosmic
you were
Drive.
trying to think of drive,
I forgot the
which
one
is one word.
Yes, I forgot the word. Go to hell. So, but if we look at the items, like Zeri's sitting on a Triforce and Zeal, and that build doesn't get good until you have the Black Cleaver and the okay, doesn't get really good until you have the Black Cleaver and the Runeans. So like, it's gonna be a hot minute before she's that champion of everyone's nightmares. So yeah,
it's also a
as
build
much as I want to see in it
that has just gotten really nerfed as of late, to my understanding, as Disciple is pushing this tower down. Inhibitors are falling, and if there's going to be a trigger pulled, it's going to have to come soon. But there's the hook coming through. The ult from the Sylas, grabbing that Leona ult. There is the Sylas going low, but he's not going to go low enough, as Wording is going to have to go back to the fountain. Everybody is going either to a gray screen or fountain, as Dialune is the only person left low as all hell and will not be getting out of this one alive. There is the Nexus going down, and it is going to be Leviathan taking game 1 of this series.
That was a pretty dominant game. That is what happens when you go into a game with a plan and execute it. I mean, that's just the story of what happened. They knew that they wanted to have the Blitzcrank roaming around everywhere making plays. You knew that they were going to have an advantage just in scaling early, and yeah, they executed on what they knew they had an advantage in, and that was roaming power and champion power in the early game, and they just ran away with the lead. That was really smart play.
Yeah, very smart play there, and I feel like G&E started to get their feet under them a little bit near the end of the game. It just was kind of too little too late. Overall, though, I'm excited because, yes, it was a stomp, but G&E showed some opportunity, some potential to actually be a threat if the game starts off a little bit better for themselves. So I'd love to see what they could do with a better comp in the early game and see if that can turn things around and make things a little bit more competitive going into the mid game there.
I think they just need to because they definitely showed flashes of brilliance. There were a couple of moments in there where you could recognize, like, okay, they're playing this really well. They have the ability to recognize that when they have an advantage, but it's just they didn't have a lot of advantages in the early game. So I think going into the next game, they just need to recognize, like, just pick a draft and then make a plan around it. Like if you want to have like an early game bongo comp that's really easy to execute, go for it. But you just have to play towards what you draft. And while I liked their draft, it was just very vulnerable in the early game, and they didn't really have a plan to match the inbuilt aggression from SON.
Yeah, it seemed like there was just a little bit too much going on in the early game, but we'll see if G&E can turn that around as we get ready for game 2, guys. Do not go anywhere. We will be right back as we set up game 2. Hello and welcome back, everybody, as we are just about ready here for game 2. Teams are readied up, and we are going to be starting draft very shortly, but I want to know what you think G&E need to change.
They just need to draft for a comp that they know they can execute. And honestly, the simpler the better. That's just kind of a rule of thumb in general. Unless you have practiced it, picking a comp that requires a high level of execution can be really detrimental. Especially when you're playing against a team who has already shown that they're really good at picking something and then executing on it with a very good plan. So you either need to play something that, like, okay, they have a roaming support Blitzcrank, so they're gonna try to roam towards mid. So we need to pick something topside that can have as much of an impact elsewhere, or just it's just an allocation of resources and recognizing where they're going to be aggressive and either matching that aggression or being aggressive on the opposite side of the map.
I think honestly the biggest thing to me too was just like there was no PowerPoint early game in that draft for G&E. There was 3 losing lanes and a jungler that really was not capable of helping to an extent, right? Because Viego does require a little bit of setup, a little bit of time, maybe a little bit of like taking advantage of, you know, the people being low and stuff like that, getting the resets off. And G&E just did not seem to be in a position where they could really do a whole lot about that. As we are going to see the Hecarim come through, bans the Viego, really the only differing band. Actually, sorry, for Leviathan, that's the only differing band. G&E taking out that Trundle and the Sylas.
That's yeah, that's smart. Silas was nuts. Trundle I don't think was as much of a problem as Blitzcrank was. First Persona again. I don't know why the focus on Leona. Maybe it's just something they're really comfortable on. It's a good champion. Should be fine.
I mean, I think the Leona was good, all things considered. Yeah. The Leona was hitting some really good ultimates, even on an Ezreal of all things. So I'd love to see if maybe, you know, they don't pick up the Ezreal Leviathan here. If they can ban the Ezreal maybe and go for something, like force them to pick something that is easier for Leona to hit and immediately make that threat so much more palpable.
So I like the Lee Sin pickup, showing that, like, okay, we're gonna, like, if we're gonna fight early, I'm gonna pick an early game fighting champion. So I like that adaptation from them. I do think, like, again, the Leona play, the micro play of Leona was really good. It was just an issue of, like, they had 2 people sitting in a lane with 1 Ezreal and were still down in farm, and like they got 2 kills kind of across the whole 15-minute laning phase.
Yeah.
So it's just recognizing, like, she's good, but you need to move her around the map a little bit more. Yeah, they're picking a pretty. I like the comp so far.
Yeah,
good.
I mean, so here's the thing that struck me: Lissandra was banned in game 1. So G&E are getting access to this where they did not have it before. It is a much stronger tempo mid laner than they had before, and alongside a Lee Sin provides a lot of opportunity for G&E to make moves first, as opposed to just trying to stall out for late game, as we do see the Blitzcrank banned away by G&E.
That's smart. You don't want to play against it. I do like the the Lissandra pick. A lot of the stuff that I saw in my op.gg scouting was he tends to play a lot of supportive champions like Lissandra, Galio, Anivia, things that, like, they're not going to take over a game, but they will enable the rest of your map if they pick aggressive champions to kind of run away with their leads. And Lissandra is really good at eating aggression, so if they pick like an assassin, like, you're not going to have a fun time into Lissandra. So that's a really good early pick that both stops the enemy team from picking a really aggressive mid laner so that you don't have to worry about that losing lane again, but also it means you can pick these aggressive top laner and AD carries. So, like, you can pick like a Samira or something in here and be fine, and because you know that late game you're going to have that protection of a Leona and a Lissandra to eat that aggression. They're not going to be able to dive your backline into that comp. So it's a really smart placement of the pick.
You say that, but what concerns me here about like something like the Samira is you have a Jarvan Hecarim that you're going up against.
That was my next thing I wanted.
It is both highlight. A Jarvan and a Hecarim.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, but the thing is, if they dive and they don't have the damage to follow it, they'll just get blown up. You know, like Lissandra can
Jarvan herself. Hecarim do a lot of damage.
Okay, so if you pick something with a dash, I was hoping we'd see this.
Okay.
They play a lot of Swain AP carry in the bot lane. This is gonna be cool. I like this. This is good adaptation. They want a team fight hard. He's just gonna say, okay, dive me. I'm gonna press R and stopwatch, and you're not gonna do anything about it.
Absolutely there, as the Diana is also going to be picked up here. Completely just make a team of junglers. Ezreal's jungled once. Kayle.
What is their team?
Is this Kayle support?
I think it's Jarvan support, if I had to guess.
Jarvan support would make more sense. Kayle support would be a lot more interesting.
Yeah, I did notice, I mentioned in the last draft that SON likes these scaling top laners like Kayle. So I think it's Kayle top. I think it's Hecarim jungle and J4 in the support lane. Nar's a good pick. More team fighting, safe in her own lane. Will be able to bully the Kayle a lot early game, which is pretty great. And then once you build that hull breaker, you can kind of extend that lead that you already have in the early game. So good draft.
Yeah, great draft overall here, and I love the, just like I said, the early aggression that G&E have here, as we will be getting the actual draft underway here. I will take a quick sec because I did not actually fix up the drafter to show up correctly, so we are gonna load that up. As I
will talk for a moment while you do that.
I got it. I'm fine.
Well, all right, I'll shut up then. Fine.
Yeah, so like you said, we do have the Kayle coming through here against the Gnar, and that's just not gonna be a fun time. Gnar, very good right now, and once again, Hullbreaker is an item that Gnar abuses a lot.
Yeah. I think that top lane will be either so there's two trains of thought. I think if you're SON, you either leave Kayle to just kind of fend for herself in the top lane and just say, all right, she's gonna get bullied, but this Kayle, eventually she will just kind of vomit damage over everyone. Or you flood that side of the top, that side of the map with resources to get that Kayle ahead early, because Gnar is no slouch right now. His poke is nuts. He builds Hullbreaker, so you're never gonna kill him. There's two trains of thought, and then if SON does flood the top lane with resources, you have the tools to match that with the Lee Sin. I'm assuming Lissandra will take teleport, so she can match that roam. Her E lets her have mobility, so there's whichever way SON play this, Genie have the tools to match that aggression, and so that's what I'm hoping to see from this one, where they don't just kind of, do the equivalent of keeping Leona bot when she should be roaming. So I think Genie have the tools to absolutely match any aggression that SON to show.
Yeah, I think one of the interesting things here is Swain and Ezreal are both capable of staying in the lane by themselves. Swain, not exactly the easiest thing to do, but it is possible. You do have the ability to farm from range and kind of keep yourself safe a little bit. And both these supports are very capable of roaming around the map.
Yeah, I also think as far as just raw team fighting power goes, I would actually give the edge to SON, assuming like equal gold to both sides. I think SON would come out on top. They have a heavy burst combination between Hecarim diving in and then Diana diving in after.
That terrifies me.
Because it's a fear, get it? And then Jarvan actually has the power to enhance a lot of every carry on the side of SON loves attack speed, so that's not nothing. Free attack speed buffs are not nothing. So yeah, but I think it can go either way. There's a lot of teamfight CC on the side of Genie. I do not want to undersell that. Lissandra ult, Swain ult, Gnar ult, lot of big AoE team fighty, we're going to kill all of you at the same time kind of buttons. I love it.
Yeah, I don't think you saw that because I don't think you're watching our cams right now. Okay, you did. Cool. I just wanted to be like clear about that. And the other thing too is the wombo combo potential, not only from the Hecarim and the Diana, but also the Jarvan and the Diana, because Jarvan just goes in, ult, Diana just follows immediately, and Diana getting ahead will pop most of these characters here. The Swain, I mean, there's survivability. If that initial burst does not kill, you have the Lissandra ult to heal herself. You have the Swain ult. The Gnar going into Mega Form will provide a lot of extra defensive stats. So it's really about, if Leviathan are going to fight early, to me, they need to get that burst down immediately.
Yeah, I agree. The issue with Diana, is that 3 of those champions have dashes that they can get out of the ult with. It's not an immediate damage thing. Like you can just dodge it.
Technically 4.
Yeah, like Leona can E out of it too. But at least then can just kick you away. Lissandra can ult herself. There's a lot of tools to deal with the aggression here. So I think this is going to be an interesting one. I don't think this one's going to be a blowout.
I would hope not, but we will see how it works out as we are going to take a break. As we get into the game, we will load ourselves in. Do not go anywhere because it is coming up game 2, and we'll see if we are going to get to a game 3 with G&E and SON Leviathan. We'll be right back.
Fellow armsmen, I ask you, will you follow me tonight to break their spine and reclaim what once was mine? Those cravens backstabbed me, deceived me. Never shall I tolerate their crimes again. Now let the hunt begin. Oh, 7,000 souls scared and daunted, such a tale of woe. Not too long ago, this village was a golden scene of hope. Call down the reckoning to bring back hope and peace. Restore our glory to live forever. Bring down the dark regime. I know how to unleash eternal power. Lead us to order. I am the light bringer. Fellow warriors, I ask you, should my campaign come to an end? There's way more to avenge. Oh, 15 million souls living in this realm without much hope.
Hello and welcome everybody. We have loaded in onto the Rift, as we do see Leviathan on the blue side this time, G&E on the red side. Don't think we're getting level 1 shenanigans as everybody's fanning out pretty cleanly. We're gonna get a easy start to this as
Satisfying.
Tio just gonna give a little bit of taunt. He sees the Hecarim.
That's a whole offensive line. Everyone exactly matched each other. I love that. That's so good. I don't know why that makes me so happy, but woof, that's good.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Hecarim grabbing
Now
the
play
early
Kane.
ward too, just for that vision. Gonna back and get the sweeper now.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna see anything too spicy. I think everyone's just kind of gonna go to lane, handshake. Nobody repeat last game. No taking buffs at level 1. Let's not invade. Let's be friends for a little bit. It's gonna be fine. You've got Leona and Diana on opposing teams. That's a little heartbreaking, but
It's
we'll make do.
it's the true lesbian experience. I can tell you from
Yeah,
experience.
Diana got a new girlfriend and her name is Kale.
That,
Leona adopted a pet and his name is Gnar.
you know, I hate how like comparable Leona or comparable Diana and Kale can be at times.
Yeah,
That's not okay. Stop that.
yeah. You don't think that that Riot does women justice in character design? Is that what you're implying here?
No, it's more personality.
Mm.
As
Okay.
things are gonna, they're both kind of like really aggressive about things. Okay, look. Anyway,
Would you say zealous?
zealous is a good word that I do not know how to use correctly. So thank you.
Yeah, I don't remember the word drive, but I will get you on zealous.
Lanes have gotten underway as we do see our junglers clearing out. It is going to be the normal 3-camp start there from the Lee Sin. Will have been seen going from red down to the bot side, so this Jarvan Ezreal should be aware that they may have jungle attention being brought to them.
This top lane is interesting. I almost want to like say stop playing the game and let me look at top lane because I don't know how Kale picks up this early of an advantage in lane.
Don't either.
She's farming so well, and like they're trading fine. I don't get it.
Oh, but the gank is coming down bot side as Dio is going to go forward, get a little bit of tower shots there. Ivor's going to stay alive. The gank does not turn into anything major, but we do get the flashes and the heals out of, or the flashes and the cleanses there out of the Ezreal.
I am really happy to see that on the side of G&E there because that may have not resulted in a kill, but it definitely resulted in an advantage. The lane is frozen really far up, so even though they didn't get
grab comes through, Dyloon gonna go in. Ivern has to flag drag and flash away. Dyloon trying desperately to get the kill, but the red buff is it's keeping him from getting onto it, and Dyloon is gonna go low. Will get the first blood, but maybe not the first they wanted. Dio, that's not where he's at. You gotta throw it the other way, putting the blind in Lisa and the blind monk. And that will just be the 1-for-0 going over to Dyloon with the double buffs.
Yeah, that honestly, even though Ezreal and J4 didn't die there, that could not have gone any more perfectly for Genie's bot lane. They're even in farm, and there is a huge wave for Dyloon to farm up here, and like he has double buffs.
Oh my goodness, Dyloon. Okay, there's some comfort on this, Swain.
Oh yeah,
clearly.
he's played a lot of Swain. I love it.
Yeah.
I love weird comfort picks like this. It's not meta. You don't expect it, but he is comfortable on it.
It's one of those like vaguely meta things that you know how to work around, but is definitely not the norm.
But also like that gank again, like it didn't result in a kill, but it was such a huge advantage for Swain, giving them lane priority here. They were able to freeze the lane pretty close to their tower, so like Ezreal missed a ton of experience because they had to join that fight up in the river. So like you've got a CS lead, you've got a double buffs on Swain, which allowed him to stay in lane when otherwise he probably would have got shoved out. So as much as like it looks like a comfort pick on Dyloon, Dio played just as much of a role in securing this lane advantage for them as like Leona or Swain did.
And it's a little concerning too, because I mentioned like they saw the Lee Sin start red and go down bot side. You should expect the 3-camp and then gank from Lee Sin. That is kind of the classic thing. So it's a little worrying that they did not respect that and still ended up losing out on that fight. Instead of being like, it is a Lee Sin, a Swain, and a Leona. We have an Ezreal early game and a Hecarim. We don't win that.
And it's interesting too because Swain went Conqueror, which is not a lane rune, especially for Swain.
Yeah. Well, it is normal for, I know that is normal for the AP carry style Swain, not as much for support Swain, but definitely provides a lot going into that late game because it just adds to that healing. I think the way Conqueror works, if I remember correctly, is we will see the Hecarim get a little caught out here, rooted down. He's going to use the Lissandra to try and get away as the ult will come through. Sluder now has to back away. Okay, cool. I can finish that thought. The way Conqueror works is it has to be a new spell. So if the ult is going and it's ticking, and then you use another spell, it'll immediately tick afterwards. So you can stack the Conqueror very fast. It's the same way that I know a lot of Singed players use Conqueror.
Oh, if he had ulted there instead of Wing, I don't think he would have been able to flash out in time. Maybe he has the hands, but I'm not sure.
I mean, you can always just go for it later, as Disciple does have that level 6 now, so does have the range. Toxicoopa will have to back away, going back into the mini form. Sheen on the Gnar now, so will be a bit of a lane pressure threat, but there is a Hecarim hanging up topside, and I think they want this. Oh no, interrupting the E. And Toxicoopa will go down, just not able to stay alive. Great cleanse from Macro Beast here. As another gank down on the bot side. Ivern gonna have to E flag away. Will survive, will get the ignite down, but has to stay back. Now, there is another, you don't have the cleanse anymore, Macro Beast. There's too much CC, you gotta be careful. We're taking some damage, but it is going to be once again. No, it is going to be a kill because Ivern got greedy.
It happens. Swain's no slouch. Sorry, back to that small thing. I know this is a weird thing to fixate on, but I do play a fair amount of Gnar. Your ult, you should basically use it on cooldown in lane, because an issue is you don't have access to it all the time.
No, where do you can't miss those?
Woo,
he was in place.
Oh, that's a bummer. I mean, they're still winning lane, but that's a bummer. And man, Macro is really good at farming on Ezreal, by the way. I just want to point that out. This is 2 lanes in a row where he's had disadvantage, either because his support is roaming, where they just kind of lost lane, but he's still up in farm both times.
Yeah, I will also put the caveat of Swain is not easy to farm with early.
Yeah. Neither is Zillion, but I'm really good at it. So
yeah, well, you know, that's cool, Gavin. I'm proud of you. There is Dio going forward, just trying to keep the plates from going down just yet. Toxicoopa, once again, still struggling now against this Kayle, and it's only going to get worse and worse as the Kayle already level 8, up in farm and up a kill. This, honestly, is not how I expected the lane to go, and is very concerning considering the scaling that Kayle can have into the late game.
Yeah, I think this. Ooh.
Oh, yeah, there is the dash away. Shockwave, don't get too close. There is the flash, the kick coming through into the Leona, and that is going to be Sluter getting low, getting the ult down, but not the damage. The knockup comes through. That might have been a little bit too far forward there. Ivor going to have to flash away as X-Jungle Convict is going to run interference to make sure the support gets out alive.
I'm less than stellar target selection on the side of SON there. It seemed like every single person was going on someone different, which is not what you want. And yeah, Kayle's just gonna start running away with this lane. She can match Gnar
currently
in range.
is.
Oh, yep, there we go. Like as far as combat stats, Gnar has a Sheen, and that's it. And Kayle has a lot of attack speed and range now.
Gnar has damage sometimes. Kayle has damage.
And the rough thing about playing into Kayle in lane is you want to build Ninja Tabby because she is an auto attacker, but also she does stupid amounts of magic damage. So it's like, is it worth it to go Tabby into a Kayle and a Diana? Because you're still gonna get popped, my guy.
No, it sucks because of the Diana, but I think definitely against the Kayle that is a shift forward. Macro Beast really playing aggressive. The jungler did leave. I'm surprised that wasn't pressured there, as Ivern is going to just put a little bit of pressure down with the flag. So right now, things are actually, I'm also like kind of interested in this too. I believe this is the Emax on the on the Jarvan. Yeah, Emax on the Jarvan with the Spell Thieves and the Aerie. So really just trying to poke and give a lot of attack speed to both this Kayle and this Ezreal.
That's awesome, because Ezreal is like, he has pretty solid damage. It's just he doesn't like have a lot of attack speed in his build normally.
Top lane though. Disciple is gonna get low, pop the ult, and stay alive there, but that is a lot of damage coming through. They're still chasing there up in that top side. If you take a look at the map, Disciple's still running down. Shockwave, unfortunately, does not have the wave in a position to help, as they're just not gonna. I'm actually kind of surprised. Nope, they're going in. Interrupt from the Diana with the ultimate, but it's not enough. Here comes the Ghost from X Jungle Convict. Shockwave is going to get taken out with the ultimate. The onslaught of shadows coming through, as X Jungle Convict will turn that into a 1-for-1.
Yeah, this is Kale's gonna scale. This is gonna be bad. I do appreciate that G&E are being aggressive in the early game. They are taking they're matching aggression shot for shot in this game.
Yeah.
It's the Gnar was gonna play weak side. You kind of knew that. I don't know that their comp scales as well into the late game as we had thought, because we kind of expected Gnar to be winning this lane early, and he is super not.
Yeah, ooh, there is a great ultimate coming through there, and X-Jungle Convict getting extremely low. Toxic Koopa's the first person around there. Ivern flags and drags, but that is not enough. There's another wall there, buddy. You're going to be going down. A double kill now over to the Gnar, as Toxic Koopa now finally into this game.
This game is so weird. Because you have the Kale, and she's gonna scale. She's ahead. She's up in farm. This is going great for her. You've got your Ezreal farming like a monster in the bot lane, but you're only up like 300 gold or like 1300 gold, which is not a lot. You have one dragon, but the other team has 4 more kills.
Invade for red buff.
It's so weird. I don't know how to call this one, because they're both playing like mad lads. It's great. It's super fun to watch, but it's really hard to color commentate because I don't know what they're going to do.
Sluter getting some pressure down there. Shockwave will push a little forward, just say, hey, what's up? I'm here. Do not fight me, because I have a team with me. And that also did give the Rift Herald over. So as you can see, Dio does have that. Will want to use that. Actually not going to be able to use that. I feel like, honestly, in that situation, you just immediately pop it for those tower plates. Dialune now getting a little bit caught there. Another dash coming through, and I believe Dialune is going to go down. There's the ult coming through from the Swain. The Everfrost will buy a little bit more time, and the Blast Cone may give enough for Dialune to survive. Ezreal ult just barely misses, as Dialune will survive by the skin of his teeth.
Again, this game is so weird. G&E are playing super aggressive, but they also haven't gotten any objectives so far. They have the Herald, they haven't used it anywhere. They're actually down in turret plates. Like, their turrets are all way lower health than anyone else.
Shockwave now taking a lot of damage, has to get away. Verdup uses the ult just to keep the mid laner alive, as we're seeing SSJ Ivern get this ward down. Verdup will get another ward, and they're not going to be able to sweep. So they do know that this dragon is starting, but Shockwave needs to TP into this if they want to fight it. I think it's just going to go down easy. 2 dragons. Once again, the early dragons going over, as Sluter is going to take some damage, but Toxic Koopa will be able to push him back.
I think, so we're seeing kind of 2 examples of a team picking a late game team fighting comp. And then
Disciple wants this. Disciple's going in. Toxic Koopa is going to go over. There is the shutdown. That is a little bit too deep from the Kale, and I believe that is going to be it. No time to ult, as Macro Beast is tanking some tower shots there. Dialune getting a lot of damage down. This is the Rift Herald play. You should be able to get 2 charges on this, but Dialune needs to get out fast.
He's dead here. Yeah, he's dead. It's super smart to capitalize on that pick and take the Herald mid lane, because it's going to free you up so much.
Oh,
mid lane
no.
is the hardest.
Why are you here? What is the plan?
Yeah,
here?
you just gotta take the L there.
Is the trade?
Get another chart off.
Yeah, but I think you take that trade just for the extra charge, as mid lane has just been completely opened up, and that's one of the worst lanes to have open up.
Yeah, having your tower, your inhibitor tower in the mid lane almost dead at 16 minutes is brutal. Basically at this point, G&E can do anything they want on the map. I think from here they need to start letting. I was kind of hoping Gnar would go Hull Breaker, just because you need him to push those side lanes in. You have a very strong team fighting comp in Lee Sin, Lissandra, Swain, and Leona, so I think I think the play here is once you have this mid lane, like you're not gonna get the inhibitor tower just by brute forcing it. So send Gnar top lane and the other 4 to the bot lane, and they're gonna have to mismatch you somewhere. If they send 2 people up top lane to match the Gnar, you have so many team fighting tools and engage tools to just blow that lead in the bot lane open and start getting towers that way too. So that's what I would like to see. I can't tell the players that because that would be illegal.
Ooh, Macro Beast burning both there, and now we see up at the top side, Disciple way too far forward. Toxic Koopa will maybe go down, and that is a little bit unfortunate, as it will be a trade. Werdup does pick that up, as SSJ Iverd is going to just walk by, say hi. Dia maybe trying to go in on this. Werdup may also still continue, but no, that is just going to be the flag and drag out for the Jarvan. And now we're going to see if Shockwave can get in onto the Ezreal. No, is just going to push away. Hecarim looking for that bot side.
So I think another thing that now that you have this this huge advantage in the mid lane, I think you need to start warding the enemy jungler or the enemy jungle on the bot side, because you have Dragon coming up and they are stacking it as a late game comp, which is something you do not want. So you have this advantage now where they're gonna have to walk through so much. Look at the vision on the jungle on that side of the map. There is none anywhere for any team. So like that's a lot of darkness to just walk through and hope that there's not a Lee Sin, a Lissandra, and a Leona just waiting to ult you. So
yeah,
I think you need to take that advantage.
I did want to ask here though. We're seeing both Swain and the Lissandra running the Everfrost. Do you have thoughts on that?
I think it's smart. If SON had a big tank, I would say Leandry's on Swain is the better
stun's
pick.
gonna come through. Wow. There is the engage, and that is just gonna be a dead Ezreal almost assuredly. Perma CC, but that is going to be a trade coming back through because the team is there. Toxic Koopa gonna be shoving the Kale back onto the tower. She may have taken too much. Toxic Koopa going to be getting a kill for himself in the top side. So it is a 2 for 2, but with 2 people dead on the bot side, it is gonna be another dragon available very shortly.
Yeah, so SON have advantage in the bot side, and Genie have advantage in the top side. So maybe they can trade Herald for Dragon. It's not super great to put the scaling team at soul point this early in the game, but I mean you need to do something. And I think taking that Herald, dropping it mid lane, and getting an inhibitor is such a blow this early into the game that it will stop them from being able to ever get a Dragon freely ever again, unless you get caught.
Yeah,
but
oh, they just don't get it. They just don't get it. They just go for the push here because they're not going to be able to kill the Rift Herald in time. And because Lee Sin is topside, there goes another dragon. It's an easy pickup there.
Yeah, and it's... Oh, good flash.
Yeah, flash coming through, but Dilute is going to pop the ult. I don't think you're going to be surviving this one again, but look at topside. They're doing the same thing to the Kale. She's not strong enough to 1v3 just yet. Macro Beast also getting pushed, engaged on there. The cleanse will come through, and it is just going to be another trade there, 1 for 1, but the dragon going over to the side of Leviathan, who are now on soul point.
Yeah, I said this wasn't going to be a blowout, and it's not. It's another weird game.
It's a slow blowout.
They're just trading kills on either side of the map. I think there is an issue if G&E don't press their advantage that they have. They don't even have a gold advantage, but they do have a map pressure advantage. And they're up in kills. They have better team fighting tools. So, like, I think there's going to hit a point where SON just slap them with the gold stick and the dragon stick that they have. Genie are playing aggressive, but I don't think they're applying aggression to the right places right now, which is kind of an issue.
Yeah, it's like they're getting kills, but they're not considering the objectives that they could possibly get or give away based on the aggression that they are utilizing. So it
Yeah.
it feels really bad because it's like, yeah, you guys are being aggressive. That's awesome. That's great. And you did great in the early game with that Rift Herald push. I thought that was a great macro call. But this time around, it really does feel like it feels like they're just kind of over-committing on that kill opportunity rather than thinking about the objectives around side. Is Shockwave going to just go over to the Krugs, gonna continue there, gets the ult down just in time. Toxic Koopa's around, but not gonna be able to turn into Mega Gnar just yet. The entire team up here just to kill that Lissandra, as Baron is on the table and could be pressured.
Yeah, you can do it really fast if you send Kale up there, but I think she's just gonna kill Dialoon real quick. Yeah.
No, I mean, look, on your way to getting a blue buff. Oh no, and because Dio's coming down here, she can turn this, and not only that, but you're also looking at Baron getting taken on the top side, Dio getting low, the Kale has become online, the ult comes through the kick away, Dio may be able to get that kill, but will not hit the Q, and now Toxic Koopa says, hey guys, we've got an objective on the top side, I need a jungler here, stat! And he's going to try and sneak it away with the boomerang. Will survive just barely, but it is a Baron being given away to Leviathan.
That is rough. You have a free farming Kale in the bot lane. She absorbed pressure and brought the jungler to bot side, giving them a free Baron.
Yeah.
That is so rough. And it's again like they're playing fine, but they're just not applying the pressure to the correct places or doing anything with the advantages that they are managing to secure. This is weird, though.
This is a little weird. Shockwave going to TP in on the tower as opposed to a ward in there, as it is going to be not even a kill coming through. Dio, I'm sad. I'm sad for them.
That's so mean.
League of Legends is biased, actually.
And, oh my god, this is alright. It wasn't. I wouldn't call this a blowout. I would call this a slow accumulation of resources against aggression. Like, this is how you play a scaling comp. Like, they were getting slapped around, but they just allocated resources to the other side of the map and made sure to acquire objectives in the face of that aggression. You know, if they're aggressing top lane, take a dragon. If they're aggressing bot lane, take a Baron, take the Herald or Baron or anything. It's just two sides of the same coin.
You are 1v1ing this Kale, and that's not a fight you win there, as there comes the rest of the team. Disciple ulting through. Here comes the Ezreal. Not going to be able to help enough there, as Macro Beast also maybe getting caught out. The Swain W does not work. Toxic Koopa flashing over. The cleanse doesn't hit it. And there is the kill for Toxic Koopa, getting the shutdown onto the Ezreal.
They're overstaying so hard, and Dragon's up in 40 seconds, so that might cost them soul.
It's
Diana
fine.
doesn't have TP. She can apply pressure, but Lissandra doesn't either. So yeah, I think they're fine, but you know, if this game were closer, that would absolutely cost you the dragon. So
Well, if this game were closer, they wouldn't be getting Baron.
No, I mean, honestly, like it was only Gnar there, so even if that Gnar was super ahead, he's not killing 4 people by himself. That was just good macro. That wasn't anything to do with the gold lead, I don't think, personally. But
I think the fact that they were in that position to split like that is
well, like even if
wait, hold on.
Kale was like, oh, I'm gonna die in the bot lane.
Speaking of dying, there is the you can't miss those. X Jungle Conflict gets away as Ivern will sacrifice it. That does he have two?
Yeah, he had the stopwatch and the.
You're on your own, Gavin. I'm done. Okay.
All right.
Fight is gonna continue on as Wordoob is gonna get very in the face of the Hecarim, and finally X Jungle Conflict will go down. Dialoon is online though and starting to put some pressure down with that ultimate. Will pop the Kale. Sluter is now getting exhausted. No damage gonna come through. Desperately trying to go in, but it is G&E that are turning it around. Macro Beast now getting low. Will shift over, just barely surviving. Dio will try and just let his team do the work, as there's the stun, and Ace G&E turn it around, and they're gonna get the dragon.
Yeah, See, this is what I mean. They are overstaying. They're making mistakes, and it's entirely possible to throw from here. You did just give a big objective bounty. I don't know if you just said like. Jarvis just said in all chat they paid me $20 to miss my EQ. I promise. But like,
Can I
don't know,
can
they're
I
just
get that
overstaying.
deal?
Huh?
I don't get paid $20 to miss skills.
I could pay you to hit skill shots and you wouldn't. So.
Do you want me here or not?
I think there's an issue in that SON are kind of, they're not throwing super hard, but they are overstaying. They're making mistakes, and G and E are starting to capitalize on them. So there is a route back into this game somewhere. It's going to be rough, but it is entirely possible.
Yeah, I mean, the point is less that it is getting thrown away, but more that the door has been opened, and there's a world where G&E can push that door a little bit more. It's a so far this game it's been a bit of a revolving door, but
Yeah.
this time around, you know, we're getting that revolving door going, and once that momentum gets going enough, it starts to just keep pushing there. Dylan actually got the... Oh, no. Actually, hold up. Yeah, Dylan actually got the wolves there.
Yeah, that's we call that a win where I'm from. That's a big W. You take those. That's a moral victory.
I mean, it's also a gold victory. You get money.
You take what you can get.
Yeah.
Also, it's so weird. I know I keep saying this is a weird game, but they're down 2 kills and up like 6k gold. What is happening? This is so weird.
I mean, the big thing is the towers as well as the objectives here. Because here comes the engage and easy pickup, not even getting the ult down as Shockwave will go down. Dilute also going down in the
There we
1v1.
go.
This could be the end of the game here as Redupe is going to try and get some pressure down, but it's not going to be enough. Toxicoopa trying to 1v3, and now Dio 1v5ing, and it is not going to work out. Ivor gonna push in, say, you know what? I don't care about towers. I have Azonias as a Jarvan. That's a choice I made. And now they are going to end the game. The Golden Boy wins it, and it is going to be Leviathan picking up the 2-0 on the night.
Yeah, that was definitely better from Genie. I think it's unfortunate they didn't do anything with the advantages they were able to pick up. But they definitely were like, okay, you guys are going to be aggressive early. We can be aggressive early too. So it was nice to see that bounce back a little bit. But SON just picked a scaling comp with an aggressive mid lane and jungle, and they matched aggression on the other side of wherever a Genie was throwing their aggression. That is exactly what you want to see.
Absolutely. I mean, Leviathan looked very controlled. Obviously, this game got a little bit out of hand here and there, but especially game 1, they looked controlled. And this game as well, they still had really solid macro, right? It wasn't just them outplaying. I think that's the most impressive thing to me. We see a lot of teams that will just outplay and have better micro and just win fights in 1v1s and stuff like that. This was not that. This was, okay, you guys want to trade a kill for a kill in top and bot? Well, we're also going to take the dragon. You guys want to really force hard onto our Kayle on the bot side? We're going to take Baron for that. And there was always that kind of thinking ahead that Leviathan were doing that G&E weren't. And that's so kind of terrifying because it means they can win in a lot of different situations.
Yeah, it was pure macro that won them both games. They had good plays. They weren't playing badly or anything. That's not even close to what we're saying. But like, that's 100% of why they won. Is every time Genie did something or failed to do something, S1 was like, all right, well, we're next. We got it. It's fine.
Yeah, very, very well played from them. And I mean, GD did start to come back in both games. They had some bright points that started to look great, just didn't push through enough to get over that hump. And I want to see this team. I think the early game pressure did work out really well from them, and I'd love to see them run a composition like this again. just work on that macro and not get pulled into those situations where you're trading at a slight disadvantage over and over again. Genie, I think, can also be a team to watch out for.
Hmm. Do you think it's a coincidence that the team with Macro Beast on their roster is really good at macro?
Absolutely.
Was that planned or no?
You know, the amount of times I've heard somebody say that I'm good at macro and actually be good at macro is very, very minimal. So I'm gonna give it to him this time, but it's gotta keep coming. Like macro is not about you did it right in 1 or 2 games. It's about you did it consistently. So you know what? I'll give it to you now. Just give me a little bit. Keep giving it to me, and I'll give you that title.
Yeah, if you don't keep up the macro game, I will hack into Riot's mainframe and change your name to Macro Feast because you're feeding.
Micro
I don't know.
Beast.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, look, the Israel had some good stuff. There was some good plays there, and the weird picks from SSJ Ivern. I don't know if I have opinions that I can say on air. Stop ruining my solo queue games. That's
Please don't
one.
play solo queue when I'm playing solo.
Yeah, please don't, because what's gonna happen is I either end up with you on my team, and you don't play well for a game, and I end up losing RP or LP, and then I get against you, I lose to you, and then my team's flaming me for losing to you.
It's me. I'm flaming.
Yeah. Anyway, that is it for us tonight. The 2-0 for Leviathan looking great. And we will be back next week for week 2. It has been Thousand Eyes. That has been Gavin. And we will see you guys next time.